Hi, friends.
Welcome to the Nora and Becks podcast.
I'm Nora.
And I'm Becks. And today we're going to be talking about episode 90, Pain and Perspective.
Yeah.
Any initial thoughts?
I mean, I've listened to it like twice now, and the second time I listened to it, I was thinking Skiz's excitement for his daughter on like all of the story that he was telling about her whole arc of doing softball. It made me excited to have kids, if I'm being honest.
Aww.
He was like inspiring me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have a kid that's like that I can go and support them and whatever. But
yeah, it's very cool.
So that is one thing that I was excited about. And then just like how it really hit me how strong she is to be able to separate her emotion from the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And it was like, I like to think I would be able to do that in that situation, but I don't know how well I would be able to handle that.
I feel that for sure.
So I was like really astounded by that, and like how cool is it that she had that perspective. And yeah, I don't think I had anything else that really stood out to me. I loved the Hermitcraft talk near the end, but that wasn't really related to the topic.
Of course, right.
Always love to hear about Hermitcraft, but yeah.
I will say it's interesting about just her way of separating emotion from the reality of the situation, because personally I feel like I never know with situations when I'm going to be really good at compartmentalizing what is happening in my life. Like some things have just had the most absolute hold on me for years, even though I feel like I've moved on and it doesn't affect my daily life necessarily. Like if it's brought up or I remind myself of it, like I get so emotional. Whereas like using the example of moving out of my childhood home, like I was literally born in that house, lived there for 22 years, and then I moved onto land, temporary housing, still building, but like I expected to be way more emotional. But once I got to my new property and my new house, I was just like, this is life and this is where I am, and it's great because I want to be here. And like I had no friends, I had no social life for so many months other than like online, which I'm grateful for. I was still in touch with you and stuff, but like I didn't have my PC back then either, so I wasn't playing Minecraft. I don't even know what I was doing with my time other than work. But I remember like sitting at one point in my living room and I was like, yeah, I mean, if I really hone in and focus and like think about my old house and think about how maybe there's a part of me deep down that's sad that I'm not there anymore, then I could probably make myself start crying. But why would I do that? Like it won't change anything, and it wouldn't be better than where I'm at right now. Like I don't have, and maybe that's just from being in a healthy headspace. And that is kind of a level of emotion of like change that I was in control of. But then you use an example of like I can use another one of something that was complete unexpected pain, which was losing one of our family dogs, really unexpectedly, really before she was like, she wasn't young, but she wasn't old. And it was a complication with her surgery. And that was completely like just blindsided all of us. And it was very horrible. Like I had to watch her die in my home. And like I did cry like every day for like a week, and it was very hard. But as soon as that period of time was over, like I don't feel like, more than like tearing up once or twice in the last year, like I have not broke down about it a single time. Like I just reached a point where I mentally was like no amount of crying or feeling broken or feeling guilty for, just kind of, in some weird way in my head thinking maybe I was responsible just because we chose to have the surgery. Like at the end of it all, like it was out of our control and it was not going to bring her back. And the only thing I could do is move forward. And I have other dogs that need and want my love. And so,
yeah,
I don't know, it's weird. But like, other family members obviously are still really struggling with it. And I don't really know why. I just have this, like, I mean, I know in some ways where I get my peace from, of course. But like, at the same time, it's just like the way that I can compartmentalize. Like, I still, like, all of the emotions that I felt, I still recognize as being real, but I don't get emotional.
Yeah.
And I wish I could implement that in some other areas of my life. Like, whenever I have a, like, slightly overly stressful, like, conversation, and I randomly, my body is like, hey, your tear ducts are going to start pouring.
Yeah, I hate that. That's like my least favorite thing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Being a girl is hard.
I really don't enjoy when I'm angry about something and then start crying and then everyone doesn't take me seriously. And I'm like,
so real.
So annoying because I'm like,
real.
You don't understand. I'm not sad. I'm not like heartbroken. I'm so freaking pissed and I can't. It's just got to come out. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, I remember a time in high school sitting in a group of people and like this one guy was just absolutely railing on this show that it's not a good show. I acknowledge that. It's kind of cringe, but I still loved it because I watched it through like middle school and early high school.
What show?
It's Once Upon a Time.
Okay, I literally knew you were going to say that. How did I know?
Listen, it's not a good show. I know that. I acknowledge it. But like it's just so it's
your childhood.
Funny and in a way. And like it still has some like admirable qualities, you know? It's still fun. But man, this guy was absolutely railing on it and like would like if I tried to make any kind of defense, not necessarily being like, no, you don't understand, it's a great show. I'd be like, yeah, it's not that great, but he'd be like, no, it's literally trash. It's literally the worst show I've ever seen in my life. And he kept like arguing points so aggressively and like in a group of people in front of me and like just kind of putting me down for like not directly but kind of indirectly. It felt like it. Like I was the only one in that group that was like, no, like it's a fun show. Like I still acknowledge that it's bad, but like it's not the worst thing on this planet. And he's like, no, it's literally the worst. And I got so angry. Yeah. And I started tearing up and I was like, and then I got more angry and I just remember being like, okay, I gotta go. And I gotta go get ready because this was in a theater environment. So I was like, I gotta go get ready for my next scene. And I like got up and stormed out of that group. And I had to like go just like breathe. It's just like in like one of the bathroom stalls, like enclosed rooms in the dressing room. And I was just like angry. I think I punched the wall at one point. Like I was just like, I need to get this out. And I'm not doing it in front of people because then I'm gonna look like a baby.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I feel that to some level whenever people hate on Avatar. It makes me so angry. But yeah, I feel that for sure. It's really unfortunate.
Oh man. Crazy. But yeah. So back on the subject of the podcast topic, and Skiz's daughter, obviously. Knowing that he was there when that happened broke me. I'm so glad that him and his wife, but like that had to be like, I mean, just hearing him talk about it, like now I understand why it took him so long. Like that's gotta be such a scary thing to watch happen. Yeah. And, I'm grateful that like,
do you know what Skiz's Enneagram number is?
I don't. I feel like I've tried to think about it before. No, I think they've talked about, they've maybe talked about Myers-Briggs personality test because that's what most people know. But honestly, I don't even know those. Yeah, anymore. I know what mine is, but
I don't know mine. If I know my Enneagram, that's the one that I follow. But
if I had to guess, I would say he's either.
He gives me 4 energy.
He really, really does. And I'm pretty sure he is a 4. But he might be a 7 too. It just kind of depends. But
yeah.
Um,
and his daughter, just from what I know of her, gives 8. So
yeah, just from his descriptions.
It's funny to me how he took it compared to how he said she took it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, for sure.
Also, speaking of crying out of anger, that would have been my reaction for sure. I also,
right.
I wouldn't have cried from the pain. I've gotten injured before and never really cried about it, but
sure.
Man,
I feel like it depends on what it is that happens to me, but like sometimes that happens to me. Like, and I don't know about scream, but that would be so scary to watch though. Your own child, like, just
collapse,
like,
pretty much.
Collapse and like cry in pain, like, ooh.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah. But, dude, I can't even with Impulse's perspective on that whole thing though, like, just when he was talking about like just going back to like his high school experience, which like I feel like he's made this point before too, but it really just like brought it home with just being like, if he hadn't experienced his injury in basketball, he never would have even met Skiz. Like, that is crazy to me.
And he probably would never even be in the creator space like he is.
Right? Like, you never know what some small, like seemingly small or big, like situation that happens, or like an injury like that or something, like the way that it puts you on the path for where, like, the direction that you're meant to go. Like,
dude, my brain, I don't know what it is. Maybe I have something, but I like am always conscious of that thought. Yeah. And I think of things that I do and decisions that I make, and I'm always, like, everything, every person, every little thing in my life, I'm always like, is that the thing that's going to change my life? Like, what is that? I don't know.
Dude.
But
it's so real. Even just, like, I just feel like my perspective on, like, things sometimes, like, I remember in high school, or, like, I guess I was kind of out of high school, but I remember just having, you know, strong feelings for someone that I was never going to date, and I knew that it wasn't going to happen. And I just, like, kind of stuffed that, you know? And I remember, like, after the fact, like, a good while after, just thinking about that period of time, because it was, like, almost a year, I was just like, you know, I think that God was protecting me and keeping me in a situation where I was never going to actually be with the person that I wanted to be with. So I didn't get distracted or pulled by someone that I wasn't meant to be around at all.
That's so fair.
Or like, and I remember talking to like a friend about that, and they were like, that is crazy that you can have that type of perspective about unrequited love. I mean, I was just like, I don't know, man. I got to cope somehow.
That perspective, like, that thought process is like, I think that all the time. I'm like, maybe I'm in traffic right now, because if I wasn't in traffic, I would be hit by somebody. And it's like, dude, literally 100% like that.
Dude, 100%. Dude, well, and that's
and then it's like our thing with next week. It's like, if we don't make it on time, maybe we were gonna die. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was like, you know, if we're meant to go to our concert, we're gonna go, and if we're not, then there's probably a good reason for it.
Yeah. So it's just like, not everything is that deep. Like, I genuinely believe that not anything. Yeah. Like, God probably doesn't even care about my traffic situation, but it's like, why do I think that? But
it's like, well, it's like things aren't that deep, but also at the same time, they actually are so deep. Sometimes they are.
Sometimes they are that deep. But yeah.
Like, how could all of the life series people? How could all of the life series people ever, like, you know, think that by releasing their episode on this random day in October, that they were just gonna absolutely, like, shatter me and, like, make my entire birthday so amazing?
Yeah.
Okay, like, literally Secret Life launching on my birthday was crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. I kind of forgot that happened, if I'm being honest, but that was a really great birthday present for you.
It really, really was.
Were we together when that happened? Was I there?
No, but we FaceTimed.
Oh, yeah.
And I took a screenshot and posted it for my birthday.
Oh, slay. But yeah, I'm always thinking that, where it's like, I'm also always thinking, like, what this like series of events, is this the story I'm going to tell my kids someday? Where I'm like, this is how I met that person.
Right?
This is what happened. It was just this random day. Who would have thought? Like, literally, I'm already
So
like stitching
real.
together all of those things.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's the psychopath in me, but it's really funny to me that I think that way.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, maybe this little thing will be significant someday. But but it also gives a purpose sometimes to the little things that you do, where it's like, someday this might be important, more important than it is right now. So
yeah,
it's cool.
So very real. But I agree. Life's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it is so wild. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like big events that have happened in my life that I feel like I've gained perspective on, I feel like I'm still waiting on perspective on some things, like relationship I had in high school. I feel like I still haven't really gotten full perspective on that.
Yeah, you're like, one day I'll see the fruits of why
one day I'll see how that benefited me, but right now, I mean, listen, I know I was there for him in important times, like, and I feel like that was a good reason that I was there, but I'm also like, then it ruined my life, so I don't really know what the trade-off was, but it doesn't really seem fair.
But it didn't ruin your life, because you're doing great. And
no, I'm really doing great.
Happier than ever.
So true.
No sarcasm intended at all. That is like a real statement.
I really am happier than ever.
And not me casually quoting a Billie Eilish song. What?
When I'm away from you. No.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I am doing really great now. And like, you know, I went through a lot last year. I lost one of my best friends last year, which was like the hardest thing I've ever had to go through.
Yeah.
And it was not a surprise. Like, it was a long time coming. So I was able to have perspective where it was like, she was really sick and it was really hard to watch her suffer. So I was able to use that as a perspective where it's like, at least I know where she is and she's not suffering anymore. But obviously, like, selfishly, that's still really a hard thing to go through.
Yeah.
And there are days when it's really hard, but most of the time it's really just like, I'm grateful that I knew her and I'm grateful that she's so much better off now.
Yeah.
Obviously, whenever somebody's gone, you feel like you wish you'd spend more time with her or them or whatever. You wish that you had prioritized them and whatever, but overall, like, her impact on my life was like not even measurable. So like, yeah. So as hard as it is, like, I do miss her a lot, especially like being where I'm at right now, where it's like she would be the only person right now locally that I would ever probably see. And I probably would have hung out with her a lot more this year with my life being in school and stuff like that. But
right.
So like, that's hard sometimes, but
of course,
you know, obviously the perspective of just being grateful for everything that, like, the impact that she made, and that was really cool to know her. So yeah I mean, like, more short term, my perspective on school has been really helpful. Like, I'm in cosmetology school, and like the common thing that you hear about cosmetology school is that it's terrible and like you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be the worst year of your life, and you're gonna want to drop out every day, and but like just keep going and you'll make it through, and it's a lot better when you're done.
Yeah.
And so going into it, I was like, this is gonna be the worst year of my life if I let it. And I was like, this is just going to be my year that I'm going to work hard, and that's just the way it's going to be. And like going into it with that perspective, I think has really set me apart from the other girls that I'm with, because like I feel like every single day we go in and they're talking about how much they hate it and how much they want to drop out, and then like they're skipping days and all of this stuff, and it's like I really don't hate it. Like I really don't. Like I actually sometimes enjoy it, and like and I'm almost done. So like, I kept thinking like earlier on it was like gonna fade. Like I was like, it's fun for now, but I'm sure I'll hate it by the time I get out. And it's like, yes, I want to get out, but I'm also like just every day grateful that I am doing what I want to do. So like, I don't know, just that perspective. Like just today I was like, it's crazy that I'm even doing this. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy that I'm a grown person, for one thing. And it's crazy that I'm getting my education in the thing that I want to be doing. It's crazy that I'm almost done. And it's crazy that in a couple months I will be out in the world as a fully fledged adult with my career, and like that's crazy. And like I'm so grateful that I've been able to find that so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a lot of people do. So
something else that's really nice about your school environment too is that like I feel like you also like you're able to be a blessing and a light to your classmates around you too, because instead of just like being in a position of maybe like feeding into that like negative like perspective of like, oh, I hate it here, or whatever, or letting yourself be influenced, or like you're also like in all the times that you've talked to me about just being at school and maybe talking about your classmates, like it's never been a place where you've been judgmental or feeling annoyed or anything like with them. Like you just want to encourage them and you want them to work hard and dig deep and just like push through and really like set out to accomplish the goals that they've committed to. And like you've gone out of your way to be encouraging and loving to them and just like try and like lift them up, and you tend to reach them when you do that and like encourage them and help them maybe turn their attitude, turn their perspective around and try and like focus. And that's good. You need people like that in your life. And even with people you're just like kind of acquaintances with, you're still able to do that. And that's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I also, that was kind of one of my goals going into it, was like, I don't want to be just another person at the school. Like I would love to be able to bring a joy to people's day. Like if it really is such a terrible environment, I would love to be the difference that makes it a better day,
Yeah.
So sometimes I think I can accomplish that. Other days I'm like, tired and it's hard sometimes, but
definitely.
Overall, I try to be positive about things.
Yeah. We definitely are not capable of being 100% all the time. I don't know if I'm ever capable of being 100%, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, as close as possible to that.
Yeah. Definitely.
But, yeah. Unfortunately, like, something too just about the topic in general, like, pain is a big part of life. And that's something that, I was reading about this in a book at one point, but it was just kind of talking about different emotions and how we can deal with them. And when it comes to like anger and stress or not liking, like change isn't necessarily an emotion, but like just like those kinds of experiences, like there are things that you can logic out or you can manage by, doing certain things, meditation, prayer, different things that help you just relieve stress, all of this stuff.
Right.
Emotions like pain and experiences in life like pain are the only way through it is to experience it. Like you have to push through it. And that can be, people manage it and experience it very differently. And some people, it's a big anxiety and fear for them. And you just have, you don't have a choice. Like that's just a part of life.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can't run away from.
Yeah.
And, it's a hard thing to learn to just allow yourself to experience and really process in a healthy way. But it's not impossible, and pain isn't forever either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's always been encouraging to me. That's just for one thing, the way I would logic my way into things like that is I know that pain is something that you have to experience and in order to process and move through it. So the sooner I can do that, the sooner I can move past it.
Yeah.
So
get it done and over with as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So so right now, there's circumstances right now that are I'm kind of anticipating a little bit of pain. So I'm
the sooner
kind
we
of
get through
preparing
this, the
myself. I'm just let's just get this over with. But we'll see. But yeah, it's also just I know that all things work together for good, so I'm not gonna
Amen
worry about little things that I can't control necessarily.
Yep, 100%.
And just trusting that there's a reason for everything that happens in my life.
Yeah.
And that really does help. That perspective really does help with the pain and helps with processing things, seeing the bright side of hard things, even losing my friend, there's a bright side in that loss that is, at least she's not here suffering. I would rather her be okay. And at least she touched so many lives the time that she was here. So it's obviously she had fulfilled the purpose that God had for her life, and that was there, so what a blessing it is that she got to be here when she was. So there's just little things like that where it's obviously it's taken time for me to get to that point where it's I can see the bright side to things like that. And obviously it still takes time. I still haven't found the bright side of that relationship, but
it just comes back around to that thing where pain is something you have to experience in order to gain perspective.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And perspective is a huge growing tool as you move through life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. It is cool.
But yeah.
Definitely.
Well, this has been
good episode.
Pretty good topic. Yeah. Good stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously we are praying that Skiz's daughter has a speedy recovery.
Yes.
And I'm just excited for whatever this season of her life is going to be for her, because it's going to be very different. And it doesn't have to be the worst year of her life if she doesn't want it to be. Just like you going into school, it could have been the worst year of your life and hard if you had let it. And it's all about the way you choose to perceive your time.
Yeah.
And your experiences. So.
Yes.
Perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Great to have y'all here.
Can't wait for this week's episode.
Dude, we all know.
We all know what it
Seriously,
is. We all know
what was that? Skiz.
I wish that they would talk about it. I wish that they had tweeted or something.
I know. I
really wish I knew it happened.
They're like, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen, guys. It didn't happen.
You're imagining things. They're trying to gaslight us. They can't.
They can't.
We have post notifications on because we love Skiz.
And we were together. We were together.
We really were. It was so crazy. We went, no way.
And our family was like, what are you guys literally? Yeah.
Listeners.
POV us when we got comments on our post.
Right.
Anyway.
If you know, you know. And if you don't know what we're talking about, do you even
You'll find out.
Podcast?
Do you even Skiz podcast?
Thanks so much for listening, guys.
Yes. Have a good week.
Bye.